Halito, this is lesson 8, Chahta Anumpa. For today, we'll go through some new words that have been added to the vocabulary, some loan words, words that we had borrowed from other languages, and maybe throw in a little interesting word combination. So all languages evolve. As we speak them, as the culture goes on, we come in contact with people and find technologies, find new things, and we find new ways to express through language. So, Dali Anumpa means telephone. Dali Anumpa. And an even newer form of that word is Dali Anumpuli, which also means telephone. Dali Ayanumpuli. And that leads us to another new word in our vocabulary. Naholba Toba Apisa. Naholba Atoba Apisa means television or TV. Now, maybe in the future, this word will, this phrase will shorten. A lot of times that will happen in languages. It's happened in Choctaw, where you had two words that became one single word. But Naholba Toba Apisa means television. Now, speaking of word combinations or two words that become one word over time, there's a word, isuba, in Choctaw. Isuba means horse. Now, isuba is made of two words, isi, meaning deer, and holba, meaning to be like. So isuba means to be like a deer. And it kind of makes sense. If you've never seen a horse before, but you've seen deer, if you see a horse, it somewhat resembles a deer, just a little bit larger and without antlers. So, asuba, horse. Isi, holba. Isuba, to be like a deer. And it's believed also that other tribes, I believe the Choctaw, I've heard the Choctaw, I could be wrong, but I've heard the Choctaw here in Texas introduced the horse to us rather than the French or the Spanish, which kind of makes sense because if it was the French or the Spanish, we likely would have adopted one of their words for horse. But isuba means horse. And that takes us to loan words. A loan word in a language is a word that is borrowed from another language. And in Choctaw, we have loan words, and those words over time have changed forms, but the core of the word is still there. In Choctaw, there are certain sounds in the past we didn't make. We have an alphabet, a set alphabet now. But in the past, sounds that, J, V, Z, G, those sounds did not exist in our vocabulary, in our speech. So, loan words. Catos. Catos is somewhat believed come from the Spanish gato, and I can sort of see the resemblance of catos and gato. Again, we don't have G in our language, so gato would have become gato. So catos is more likely from a Spanish term for cat. Now here's another. Wok means cow. Waknipi is beef. Wok is also a word that we took from the Spanish. The first time our introduction to this from the Spanish, they probably brought cattle with them. So what they call cow is vaca. Now, we don't have a V in our language. We did not make the V sound in Choctaw. So we heard them saying vaca. We more likely began saying waka. And waka became wok. So wok means cow. Waknipi is beef. And a funny side note, Yanush is buffalo or bison. We have Yanush in our language. And it makes you wonder, our first sight of a cow, why we didn't call it Yanashoba, like a buffalo. But yeah, probably the reason why, because of we're being told by the Spanish, this is vaca, waka, walk. So now today we say walk, cow. Now, next loan word is from English, coffee. Coffee is coffee. Coffee sabana. I want coffee. Coffee is straight from the English language. More likely, they're the English were the ones to introduce coffee to us. So our final word today is chapeau, hat. Chapeau. That we got that word from the French actually. Chapeau. They introduced this word to us and probably introduced that traditional hat that we often wear. So, chapeau, hat. That is all I have today. I hope you enjoyed the little language lesson, and I have more coming out in the future. Teresa Lachiki.